Hi everyone. So welcome to Modern Classic Chatbox number 2. This is kind of my podcast second channel thing where I talk about stuff going on my main channel and anything else I feel like talking about. This is all unscripted. I'm going to say a lot. I'm going to pause a lot. And sorry, there's just nothing I can do about it. It's just the way I talk. But if you haven't seen my main channel, if you're coming in cold, YouTube just recommended this to you for some reason. Go check out my main channel first. There's a link in the description below, or you can just search for it on YouTube. Modern Classic. I talk about retro gaming, computer, hardware, audio, stuff like that. Anyway, I just posted recently another video on what is the last IBM ThinkPad. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what my next video is going to be, and probably just a few other little things in the meantime, YouTube comments, things like that. But yeah, last video on what is the last IBM ThinkPad did pretty well, or it's doing pretty well. You guys seem to like ThinkPad content, which is not surprising. I think I got about 60,000 of my current 80,000 subscribers from my first ThinkPad video that I did about the $20 laptop. So yeah, a lot of you guys came for the ThinkPad content, and you're probably staying for the ThinkPad content. And I don't want to be a ThinkPad channel, but I'm happy to do videos on ThinkPads every now and then. They are an important part of computing history, I think. Anyway, that video, you may have noticed, some of you may have noticed, that it looks a little different from the videos that I had been doing up to that point. And I'm trying to make some positive changes to the look of my videos. And I'll get into that and get into why now, I guess. But, and you see it here too. I've kind of changed. This is not a set. This is my office. A lot of YouTubers do kind of have their own set. They have a dedicated studio that they film in. I don't. I just have my office that has my actual computer that I use, and actually many other computers that I just kind of tinker with. I think I counted last night, and in this room right now, and you see it's not that big, I have a total of 15 computers right now. So a lot of computers, not a lot of room to film in, but I'm trying to make the best of it. Anyway, just a little backstory first about some of the filming changes that I have been making. I graduated from film school. I'm not using that right now. Some of you may know I'm actually a pilot at this point, but I went to film school. My degree is in cinema studies, and my second major was film production. Really hedged my bets there from NYU. I tried to do that for a while. I was a production assistant on a few productions. I actually couldn't afford it. It's kind of an apprentice system. You work for free for a while, and I needed to pay rent. So kind of fell into some different jobs, and then blah, 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 ended up where I am now. But the point is, when I started doing YouTube, I kind of thought, oh, I know how to do all this stuff. I went to film school, no problem. Bought myself what was then a half decent camera. I had a couple lights. I actually had 4 lights at that time, which was more than you need. But started filming. I thought everything looked fine, and kind of never went beyond that. And I've noticed myself, like, over time, the visual quality of my videos has actually decreased to the point where my last few videos, I've watched them back when I was watching the footage. I ended up using the footage that I used anyway, but when I watched them back, stuff was overexposed. Stuff was like the colors were way off, and I couldn't correct them properly in my editing program, and just it was kind of a mess, and I just got sick of it. And the quality of a lot of different channels on YouTube is only increasing over time. Cameras are getting better, people are becoming more knowledgeable, and there are a lot of short tutorial videos that you can watch on YouTube on how to shoot stuff. And if you watch those, you'll be fine. So I kind of just resolved to myself, like, I got to fix this. And, you know, I'm not saying what I've got here now is perfect. This is not permanent. This is me trying stuff. But I thought first, you know, should I get a new camera? You know, my camera is 10 years old. Should I get some new lights? You know, how can I make the background more interesting? How can I just make it look more professional in general? And I kind of had to go back to my roots of like 3-point lighting and shoot to the right. If you're into videography, you know what that means. If not, I don't need to explain it. But color balance, you know, all kinds of stuff. I had to go back to basics, and I finally did that. And I just put in a little bit of effort and just actually a little bit of money, not much. And I think I've been pretty happy with the results so far. Again, not done. Like these lights behind me, these are cheap little background lights, and I'm probably going to upgrade those. But, you know, kind of a proof of concept. I mean, $15 worth of lights, and like it looks a lot better than it did. But yeah, I went out, I bought one of these color checkers to make sure my white balance is good. I bought a LUT for my camera. Did not buy a new camera. This is actually the same camera, which may surprise you. Same camera that I've been using. If you've watched any of my other videos, this is a 10-year-old camera. I looked at samples from other cameras. I know other cameras work really well. I've used a Sony Alpha 6000. I had one of those for a while for my store that I ran. And like autofocus and stuff on the Sony cameras is light years beyond anything I've got going here. This that I have here, I'll show a picture of it. This is just a Panasonic Lumix G7. Again, about 10 years old. It is a 4K camera. It's a micro four thirds, which is a pretty small sensor. And I thought that might be one of the problems. And it doesn't help. But, you know, I was looking at some footage from this camera on YouTube from real professionals, and it looked great. And yeah, it has a little bit of noise from the smaller sensor that a larger sensor wouldn't have. But in a lot of ways, it's kind of pleasing. Like I feel like it has kind of almost a film grain look. It doesn't look like video noise. So I thought I should be able to do that. Just use the right settings. And, you know, I'm, again, finally doing things the way someone who actually knows about this stuff should be doing it to begin with. We're so spoiled now for all this technology that just does things automatically. And you can't rely on that. A modern camera, a new camera will do a lot of things automatically really well. Again, like the Sony cameras have great autofocus. They have really good auto exposure if you set them up right. And for a lot of types of videos, you can just put everything on automatic and it'll be fine. You can't do that with this Panasonic. I've got everything set on manual right now, and that's the way it has to be with this camera. Autofocus is terrible. Auto exposure, if you do spot metering, it works okay, but I don't always want to do that. So, and if you do that, it's going to do unpredictable things. Like with my lights back here, it'll set a shutter speed where they'll flash and stuff. So everything is manual, but I think the results are pretty good. I also bought a couple of new lights. Actually, I bought one new light, which is the one right here. And I've just got kind of a key light, fill light. I think it's the fill light behind me that's kind of lighting my back shoulder here to give a little bit of contrast with the background. That's pretty much it. So hopefully all of my videos are going to look a little better from now on. They may not all look exactly like this. I do plan for some more upgrades, but And I might still get a new camera at some point, because not having working autofocus is kind of a hassle when it comes to shooting videos. I can really only shoot like this. When I start getting, down into doing handheld stuff and or working on stuff and, moving around, then that gets to be kind of more of a problem. But anyway, yeah, so that's a little bit of backstory on the latest video that I did. Now, moving on to the next video that I have planned. It's probably just going to be a little tiny, little small video, kind of just a little repair video, and back to audio this time. It's kind of funny. Everybody says, and it's probably true, that your channel has to be super focused for YouTube to kind of know what you're doing and know who to recommend it to. And I believe that's true. My channel is not focused enough for YouTube's algorithm. That's probably why I don't get recommended. I mean, this is giving myself a lot of credit, I think, for the quality of my videos. I'm not saying the quality of my videos necessarily deserves it, but I think I would probably get more traction with the YouTube algorithm if I just focused on one thing. But, I don't want to have like multiple channels for the different things that I'm interested in. I'm kind of doing everything that I'm interested in on my one main channel, and I'm interested in all these different machines and especially retro ones, but also even some modern ones. So I've got an audio video coming up. They usually actually do pretty well. But I have a mini disc player that I've had for a long time, and I kind of shelved it after Techmoan did his series of videos on mini disc. I mean, I don't really have anything much that I think I can add to what he's done, but this mini disc player, I keep pointing over here because it's over here. I'll show you a picture of it if I haven't already, but it's a Japanese mini disc player, a Sony, one of those champagne colored ones, and I got it for pretty cheap. It looked like it was in really good shape when I bought it. I got it. I was extremely disappointed. It's not in good shape. It's not even working. It's never worked. It's all scratched up and ugly, and I'm gonna fix it finally. Techmoan actually had one tiny little video where he showed the repair that I need to do to this thing, and I didn't even know. So it's a simple repair, so I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to get it looking a little better, and then hopefully it'll work. And then what I'd really like to do is test it, do some actual audio tests. I'm going to do some I think Techmoan's probably done this too. I don't even remember, but I want to get I want to do kind of like an in, out, in thing to my PC where I do some high-res audio, get it recorded on to the mini disc player somehow using a digital connection, and then bring it back in and see what the at-track compression has done, and just kind of compare and see how good mini disc really ever was. So I think that'll be kind of interesting, at least to me. And I don't know if I can do that. I think I can. I think I actually have equipment that can do that. And luckily the Japanese mini disc players that Sony released do have both ins and outs for the optical connection. So we'll see how that works. But that's probably going to be next. Over on my bench here, I'll take a picture of this as well, but I've got another Blu-ray player that I'm working on repairing the display right now, which has gone completely dim. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but I'm trying. I'm not going to film that. And I also just finished repairing a Pioneer CD player, the one that's sitting right below the mini disc player in the pictures that I've been showing you. That thing is working fine now. It was broken when I got it. I kind of wish I had filmed that. Kind of wish I had filmed that and the mini disc repair at the same time. I could do kind of a 2-for-1, and even the Blu-ray repair, just kind of a marathon of audio fixes. But such is life. I can't, sometimes I just can't wait to get started on things. So yeah, next is going to be that mini disc thing. Let me just talk a little bit about YouTube comments on my channel and just on other channels in general. And this isn't going to be like a diatribe, like, oh, you guys are mean, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't care. So the pattern of YouTube comments, this is now going back to my last video and to all my videos. I've noticed the same pattern on every video. So when I first post a video, it goes out to mostly my subscribers, people who have set that they want to be notified when a new video pops up from me. Those are generally people who like my videos. So they watch the video, they will often comment. Usually those comments are complimentary, and that's great. You know, it makes me feel good. I don't deny that I like a good compliment. Everybody does. Usually so many of those come in the beginning that I can't reply to all of them. If you leave a comment early on and it's complimentary and I don't reply to it, I have seen it. Don't worry. I do appreciate it. I try to give at least a thumbs up to those early comments, but you know, I can't like sit there like all day just looking at comments. So I kind of look at them in batches, and then sometimes eventually they kind of just get away from me. So those early ones I definitely do see, and I appreciate and thank you for those. After a certain amount of time, YouTube will kind of pick up and it'll kind of try to recommend the video to different kinds of people at first. Actually, I don't know exactly how it works. There's definitely a kind of a progression. It kind of tries, I think, to recommend the video to people who it thinks will be interested in it at first. Those people are usually, if they leave a comment, they're usually pretty good too. They may not really know what's going on. They may say things that other people have already said, or they may comment on stuff in a way that I know they've never watched another one of my videos, which is fine. But, you know, like, so sometimes I reply to those, and I'll just like kind of point them in the right direction or whatever. And then YouTube kind of widens it out. If it gets good engagement from those people, it'll kind of widen it out, and it'll start recommending the video to like basically everybody. And then that's when I start getting the negative comments, you don't know what you're talking about, and that kind of stuff. And I have my moderation set to strict. So if you do leave a comment that is that YouTube detects is offensive in some way, and I don't know how it detects that, it goes straight to like the recycle bin, basically. And I can look at those and review them, and occasionally there is like a false positive, and I feel bad for those people because I don't look in that bin very often. So, you know, it might be 6 months before your comment actually gets published if you leave like a good comment and YouTube kind of flags it. But most of the time it's pretty good, and it does screen out like the worst of the comments. But still, a lot of like just kind of dumb comments get through. And, you know, I am not doing YouTube for a living. I don't need YouTube. I'm doing it as a hobby. I'm doing it because I like it. I just enjoy it. Like I'm not trying to make money. You know, if I make money, that's great. But if not, I have a job. So if somebody leaves a negative comment, like it doesn't really affect me personally, even if they're very insulting. Like I don't care, really. But you may see me occasionally get kind of prickly in response, and that's kind of me trying to troll them back. And like whatever, it's the internet. But those comments never really get to me. But sometimes I'll just delete one. Like I don't care. Like you know, if you're gonna leave a negative comment, like, be prepared either way. Like, your comment's either gonna get deleted or you're gonna get a snarky response, or you may get nothing because, again, I don't care. Like, after a certain amount of time goes by, I just start not paying any attention. I do kind of clear out, like, when you go into YouTube and you have the little notification bell and it says +9 or whatever, meaning you have more than 9 notifications. I do kind of just clear that out every once in a while. I'll click it and I'll scroll through and I'll see if there's anything on a new video that I need to reply to. But stuff for older videos, I often just scroll past it, especially if a video is attracting people that are of a certain type. Like, audio videos especially have a tendency to attract real audiophiles. And if you've ever seen one of my audio videos, you know that I am not an audiophile. And by that I mean I'm not one of those people that thinks $1,000 HDMI cable is going to get you better sound. But there are those people out there, and they're very vocal. So, and they leave comments on my videos all the time. So if I know a video is attracting a lot of comments like that, I don't even read those anymore. So anyway, that's pretty much how I deal with comments. So I do appreciate your comments. I like it when people leave comments. The more comments you leave, the better my videos do on YouTube. So do leave me comments. Obviously, I appreciate positive comments more. And I always read all the ones in the beginning. And, you know, even if I don't reply, I have read them. And then, you know, I may or may not read ones that you leave later. And if you leave a negative one, you know, just be prepared for whatever I do. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's about it for this little, I call it a podcast. I don't know what it is. It's not a vlog. It's not really a podcast. Maybe I'll make it look like a podcast next time and have a little microphone in front of me. I can do that with my recorder. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Watch for the next video. Hopefully, I'm planning to actually do at least part of the repair tomorrow and film that. Hopefully it won't take me that long. It always takes longer than I estimate. So my internal estimate is a week. Realistically, maybe 3 weeks. But anyway, yeah, that's it for the moment. Keep watching the main channel and keep watching this channel. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.